الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا والمولانا أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما يعتصم بالله فقد هدي إلى صراط مستقيم صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
First and foremost, I'd like to send my congratulations to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam as we commemorate the birth of our Imam, Imam Zaman, Ajalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And I'd like to send my congratulations out to you all as well, inshallah, with a loud salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, we'll begin by just touching upon a few facts concerning the Imam, alayhi salam, and then we'll get into the main topic of this talk, inshallah. First and foremost, the Imam right now is 1184 years old. Before we move on, when we think about age, there is aging and then there is the effects of aging. For example, you can see someone who has gone through a difficult life, and although they're relatively young, they appear to be very, very old. Likewise, you may see some who appear to be young, and then when they tell you their age, you're like, mashallah, I thought you were a young guy or a young lady, you're really up there in age. I guess you work well. So there's aging and the effects of aging first and foremost. Then we must understand that Imam Zaman alayhi salam, Waliyul Asr alayhi salam, is not just really nice titles. It's also reality. The Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam have Wilayatul Taqwini al-Mutalaq. They have complete authority over the creation. Not just you and I, not just the inanimate and animate objects, not just the humans and the other lower animals. They have wilayat over every single thing that Allah created, including time. Including time. Waliyul Asr, the guardian of time, or the authority over the time. He can stop the time if he wishes to. So he has the authority to do so. But in any case, the effects of aging and aging are two different things. And examples of this, for example, when we would like to discuss this concept with people who are not followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, we can think of the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam and Zulaykha. May Allah be pleased with her. One of the miracles of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is that he made the dua and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Zulaykha, who was very aged, young again. We could think about the age of, obviously, Shaitan, we could think about the age of Prophet Khidr alayhi salam. So there are many examples of age. In fact, it's been said that one of the reasons that our Imam has been given length of life is because he's the completion of the proofs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the last of them, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bring back sunnahs of the Anbiya, because many of the Anbiya used to live long times, very lengthy lives, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bring that back as well as other things. It's been said that the Imam's life is similar to Prophet Nuh, who had a very lengthy life. Also we know that he was actually born in obviously 255 after the Hijri. We know that the minor quotation began in 260 AH, which means he was 5 years old. And it lasted 68 years. The major quotation began in 328 after Hijri, and he was actually 73 years old when that began. And obviously his mother's name is Narjis Khatun, inshallah. Al-Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam قال أما وجه الانتفاع بي في غيبتي فقل انتفاعي بالشمس إذا قيدها عن الأبصار السحاب وإني لأمان لأهل الأرض. He said, as for the aspect of gaining benefit from me during my occultation, it is like gaining benefit from the sun when it is concealed by the clouds. And he also said that certainly I am a security for the people of the earth. If the earth is void of a proof, it would basically, in simple terms, self-destruct. The reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us with rain and blesses us, whatever blessing that He does bless us with, is because of our Imam, alayhi salam. So we must be mindful of that. Also, Imam al-Sadiq, alayhi salatu wasalam, قال للقائم حيبتان إحداهما طويلة والأخرى قصيرة فالأولى يعلم بمكانه فيها خاصة من شيعتي والأخرى لا يعلم بمكانه فيها إلا خاصة مواليه في ديني. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said, for the Qa'im, for our Imam, for Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, there will be two occultations. He said one of them will be lengthy, the other will be short. Then the first that will know his place, will be able to contact him, will be a few chosen ones from the Shia. We know they had certain envoys that were kind of the medium between him and the Shias at the time in the minor occultation. And obviously the other, no one really knew his place except for the chosen of his retainers in his religion. I don't know if many of you know that the Imam, it's been said that the Imam has at least 30 people with him at all times who take care of his affairs. When people read about the traditions of those who have dealt with him, even in our time, because certain people do have contact with him, not as far as receiving, receiving homes on his behalf or these type of things, but people who have a spiritual station that's high, many of them can have contact with him, or they have had contact with some of his retainers, people who were kind of the medium. It's been said that some of the Muraja have had visitation from them on their deathbeds or while they're in the hospital, and to many stories of the people with a high religious station having dealings with him or some of his representatives. Also, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam قال إذا خرج القائم عليه السلام خرج من هذا الأمر من كان يرى أنه من أهله ودخل فيه شبه عبادة الشمس والقمر. He said, when the Imam comes forth, there will be people that you think are from his group who will leave his command, who will abandon him. But there will be people who will enter him, who will enter under his authority, like the ones who worship the sun and moon, meaning that that's an analogy for other religions. They worship many other different things. These people will wind up becoming his true followers, and many of his Shia will wind up abandoning him. Many of you heard other narrations similar, which is very important because we know that the Imam is coming to do something. He will fill the earth with justice and equality, just like it's been filled with oppression and tyranny. And we know that he simultaneously, it's not like it's separated, simultaneously he will establish the Sunnah of Ahlul Bayt. He will establish the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam exactly like it was brought in the beginning. So I say that to say this. If we are those unfortunate individuals who don't want to practice the religion as intended, we don't want to put in the work, as they say, concerning our religion is not the top priority. Calling for the Imam's advent is basically calling self-destruction. Understand what I'm saying? If we know what the Imam is coming to do: establish the Sunnah of Ahlul Bayt, re-establish Islam as intended, and so on and so forth. These are things that we can do right now to ourselves. If we know what the Imam is coming to do, you don't have to wait for him. Waiting for him is not sitting on your hands. It's preparing for him in his absence. When you do something that's wajib, you do what you're told. When you do something that's mustahab, you go the extra length. Right? And mustahab is seeking love. So We just don't sit around waiting for him to give us the command. We know what he wants to do. We know what he's waiting for, and to seek his love and his companionship and so on and so forth, we begin to do those things in preparation. I know what he's coming to do. He's coming to establish the sunnah, so if I'm alive, let me begin to establish it myself in my household, or in my center, or in my community, because that's what he's coming to do. So it's, to be mindful of these things, of that we must, it's been asked of some people, what are you doing? And the response would be, I'm trying to audition for the Imam's army. I'm trying to do the things that will make me acceptable to be the companion of the Imam, as opposed to being in the opposition or one of those, because many of you are aware of narration that say that when he comes, those who have, in simple terms, an above average iman, you will get stronger. Those who are closer to the nifaq, you will be destroyed. He's coming to purify. And he's coming to judge like Prophet Dawood. So he knows the realities. What we say, he knows whether that's truthful or not by just, looking at us. So we must be mindful of that, and this makes it clear that there are some that will claim to be Shia of Ahlul Bayt, and when he comes to say, there's no way you're the son of Fatima al-Zahra. There's no way. Because we've been doing this over here, and you're bringing this stuff? No, this is bid'ah. What is this stuff you're bringing? We will oppose the Imam. Or some will oppose the Imam outright and become disbelievers, and those who during our time right now, who are worshiping three gods, or worshiping this and that other thing, they may see him, see his miracles, he gives the proof, and they become his loyal followers. So this is a reality, and we would like to be amongst those sincere followers. Now I want to focus on a topic that is, it's not kind of a difficult topic to talk about, but a topic that many people don't really understand, and that's isma, infallibility. So before we move forward, we have to first and foremost define what in the world is isma. What is infallibility? What actually is it? The first question, what is that? So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, لما سأله هشام عن معنى المعصوم هو الممتنع بالله من جميع محارم الله وقال الله تبارك وتعالى وما يعتصم بالله فقد هدي إلى الصراط المستقيم. When Hisham, which is one of Imam Sadiq's very famous and well-known companions, would ask him concerning, Ya Rasulullah, what is being ma'soom? What does that really mean? What does it mean, being ma'soom? He said, ma'soom is he whom Allah has prevented from all of what he has forbidden. So, Allah has protected this or that individual from committing anything that is haram. That's the first thing. What is being ma'soom? Which is kind of basic. We know that being sinless, not making any mistakes. So we kind of understand that aspect. But when we when we start thinking beyond that, that's when the confusion tends to come in. But we're going to go in steps. So first, we've established what infallibility is from the words of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He said is that Allah has protected them or prevented them from all that he considers haram. All of it. Okay. And he says, and this is what Allah says in Quran, he's meaning, وَمَا يَعْتَصِمْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ هُدِيَ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. He who seeks refuge from sin with Allah, certainly he is guided to the straight path. Now, the next question that should be asked, or I'm sure is running through some of the brains right now, is this isma exclusive to Ahlul Bayt, or can others partake in this blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And keep in mind, listen to what I'm saying. Isma concerning sins. I'm not talking about memory, perfect memories. I'm not talking about anything, speaking to angels. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about being protected from sin. So be mindful of my verbiage. Isma, being specifically, because the Imam used other words too for other things, but we're speaking about being protected from sin. So before I go further, I'm going to recite from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Inna Allah azza dhikruhu ya'simu man ata'ah wa la ya'tasimu bihi man asahu. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, verily Allah, exalted is his remembrance. He protects from sin he who obeys him. And he does not protect from it he who disobeys him. So guess what? Isma concerning sin is not exclusive to Ahlul Bayt. And there are many narrations where people have exalted the Ahlul Bayt concerning it, and they would say, wait, it is achievable for you also. That is. And the Quran has said, Allah says, he who seeks refuge with Allah from sin, he will be guided to the straight path. And obviously what the Rasulullah just said concurs with the ayat of Quran. Also, think about this. Who was purified? إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Well, I said it tonight. Inside joke. Right? But who was purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Obviously, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wa sallam. Fatima Zahra salam alayhi alayha. Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wa salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And the 9 Imams from his line alayhi salam. So these are the individuals of Ahlul Bayt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself has purified them from more than just sins, from any type of lapses or whatever. But now, let me ask you this. Was Bibi Zainab salam alayhi, was she ma'soom? Yes, she was. Was Salman Farsi, radiallahu anhu, who Ahlul Bayt said he is from us, was he ma'soom? Yes, he was. Was there at least 1 or 2 of each of the Imam's companions that achieved this status? Yes, they were. So, were they purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. They put in the work to become ma'soom. And because they were sincerely seeking refuge with Allah from sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what? فَقَدَّ هُدِيَ إِلَى الصِّرَاطِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Certainly, we will guide them to the straight path. So, for people who say, for example, I'm reading this book on the piety of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, all of the examples. If someone talks bad about you, how do you respond? If someone calls you this, how do you respond? All these beautiful examples of the purity of Ahlul Bayt. And when somebody says, hey, you just did something wrong, sister, think about Fatima Zahra. Or you just did something wrong, brother, think about Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. You know what the response is? But they're ma'soom. But they're ma'soom. Basically, you're saying that's not achievable for any of us. You're wrong. Allah doesn't invite you to anything that is impossible. He doesn't invite you to anything that is impossible. That is why we have the Salman Farsi. That is why we have the Zainab. That's why we have, and many other. Because guess what? They had, first of all, they took the religion seriously. 2, they had great teachers who taught them the reality of things. They taught them the reality of things. So first of all, we realize that being ma'soom, you keep in mind, I'm using words specifically, concerning sin is not exclusive to Ahlul Bayt. Right? Concerning sin, it is achievable by others, and we have many examples who've achieved this. Some from Ahlul Bayt, the extended family, and some from other than Ahlul Bayt. And it's not coincidence that these few individuals, do your history there, Imam Bakr alayhi salam had 4 companions that were like exalted companions that were praised. You know, and there were several of each of the Imam would at least have maybe one, two, maybe a few more, would have someone that they would say, these are from Ahlul Bayt, meaning that they had achieved this type of status. And we know that, for example, having concentration in prayer, you know, being able to be the level of Wilada of being able to be classified as Ma'soom, these are things that are blessings from Allah. There is not for man except what he or she strives for. And Allah says that those who, وَمَّا يَعْتَسِمْ بِاللَّهِ, he who seeks refuge in Allah from sins. As a matter of fact, the taqibat of Dhur, what does it say? Say 10 times. One of it is billahi ittasam. My tongue gets tied, right? I seek refuge with Allah from sins. Not a'udhu billah, meaning like from shaitan. This is specifically concerning sinning. Concerning sinning. Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam called bi taqwa kurinatil isma. Bi taqwa kurinatil isma. He said that infallibility is connected to piety. Bi taqwa kurinatil isma. Isma. Kurinatil is connected. Taqwa is connected to infallibility. Infallibility is connected to piety. And if you notice that there's nobody on the planet, obviously, that had the piety and the God consciousness of Ahlul Bayt. So if they had the highest level of piety, and obviously everything that you could achieve, they had the highest level of it, so they also had the highest level of what? Isma. Right? But was Salman Farsi pious? He earned the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being protected from major and minor sins. Was Bibi Zainab pious? Did she have taqwa? Yes. So you understand what I'm getting at? So, for anyone who thought prior to tonight that being ma'soom was impossible, you're wrong. In fact, right now, you are ma'soom concerning certain things. There are certain things, sisters, that you will not do, no matter what. Unless compelled. There are certain things, brothers, that you will not do. So Allah has protected you from those. I'm talking about bad things. Allah has protected you from those things, but He hasn't protected you from everything. Why? Because we haven't earned that. Think about it. The most righteous people, the most pious people commit what? The less sins. Because Allah is helping them. It's been said that if you run to Allah, if you walk to Allah, He'll run towards you. You put out one hand towards Allah, this is our analogy, He'll put out two towards you. So if you are seeking to be really a sinless individual, and you work diligently for that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you with it. You know, He knows that who is sincere, He knows who just giving lip service. So, first of all, we know what being ma'soom is, and we've established with narrations from Ahlul Bayt and ayat of Quran that confirm that if we are sincerely seeking refuge with Allah from sin, you know, not just going about our day and, you know, and this is how we'll start things. May Allah forgive me, but I'm about to do this. Meaning, I'm about to do something that Allah doesn't like, but I'm going to do it. That's not going to get us the isma. You know, things like that. You know, being sincere, being really sincere. We know that the individuals we mentioned, Bibi Zainab, Abu Dhar, these individuals, Abu Basir, Abu Saf, you know, companions of the different Imams, they dedicated their lives to the Ahlul Bayt.